Meeting to order, roll call.
Sure. Commissioner Connell.
Present.
Commissioner Tucci.
Present.
Commissioner Ellis.
Present.
Commissioner Fabian.
Present.
And Commissioner
Present. Minutes of previous meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes of the previous meeting. Second.
Motion second. Any discussion on the motion? Here, no discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Connell.
Yes.
Commissioner Tucci.
Yes.
Commissioner Ellis.
Yes.
Commissioner Fabian.
Yes.
And Commissioner Connell.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna, we got a presentation on the solar panels coming up. Is that what it
Yes.
is? Do you wanna bypass it and go right to that and then be done and over with?
Make a motion to suspend the rules and move on to the Weston and Simpson Solar Feasibility Study presentation.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, we don't have to call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. My name is Steve Weir with Weston and Sampson Engineers. We responded to a public RFP to do a solar feasibility study for you folks. We generated that report last summer, came in June of 2015, and gave a presentation to the staff, made some revisions, and subsequently issued a report. And it's been, I realize, 9 months since we've issued that report. There have been a lot of changes to the solar market in Massachusetts. Notably, the run on SRECs has been capped out, and net metering in National Grid territory has got a 800 megawatt waiting list. I think that number is right. But here to give at least a review of the study that we had done is Matt Spady.
I'll be seated just so everyone can see the screen. So, as Steve said, we performed a feasibility study primarily to give the Commission the necessary information to make a go or no-go decision whether to further pursue solar as a possible generation source. We evaluated 4 different facilities: the Walnut Street Pump Station, the building that we're in right now, as well as the water treatment plant and the wastewater treatment plant. As part of the feasibility study, we walked the sites with Commission staff, reviewed available GIS information, as well as plans of each building and utility information. The report includes general technology and design considerations, structural, electrical, and permitting evaluation, as well as relevant economic analyses. Looking at Table 1 here, we have the available data that we looked at was from 2013 and 2014. The Commission, between those 2 years, spent about $4.6 million on electricity. The Commission essentially uses an independent energy supplier, Constellation, which the energy is transmitted through National Grid. Currently, the Commission has a number of energy efficiency measures, as well as a 600 kW turbine and potentially solar PV. The first facility that we evaluated was the pump station. This had an available, 12 kW on the roof, which would produce approximately 14,000 kilowatt hours annually. The second facility was the headquarter building. This facility had enough room for roof-mounted system, as well as potential solar canopies where you would park underneath. Those are becoming very popular now. And this has a potential for 100 kW, producing approximately 120,000 kilowatt hours annually. The third is the water treatment plant. Just like the headquarter building, this has the potential for canopy system and as well as a roof system. And this has the potential capacity of 370 kW, producing approximately 450,000 kilowatt hours annually.
Again, that's using the space of the rooftop and parking lot. It's not clearing any land around the facility.
Correct. Lastly, we have the water treatment facility, which again also has room for canopy system, as well as various roof-mounted ballasted systems. The capacity here is approximately 200 kW, as well as producing an annual output of 200,000 kilowatt hours. Here we have a table showing each facility, the system size, the type of the array, whether it's roof or a canopy system, the array tilt, the azimuth, as well as the total estimated production per year on a monthly basis. This is, we use a standard PV watts. It's energy, or it's a industry standard modeling software. Here we have the economic analysis for each one. We evaluated both financing types of equity and debt. The simple payback ranged from 6 to almost 9 years, depending on the current incentives and programs.
That were available at the time we did the study, which may not be available anymore.
That's correct.
Namely SRECs.
Mainly SRECs. A third, I guess, model would be a municipally owned, a third-party private ownership model. This would be where the commission would go out to bid and qualify a developer. Developer would essentially build a system and sell the commission the energy at a discounted rate. That's going to be based on the certain programs and incentives that are available to a private party and not a public entity as yourself.
Taking advantage of the income, the investment tax credits that are available.
So currently, the SREC program, which is a solar renewable energy credit, is essentially a credit that is minted for every megawatt hour a system is produced, can be sold on an open market. Right now it's fully subscribed. Currently, or just in January, the DOER set aside 120 megawatts of small scale systems, which essentially allows 25 kW on a 3-phase or 10 kW on a single phase to mint SRECs. This is intended to preserve the space in the program for smaller scale PV. It's on a first come, first served basis. And currently, there is only 67 megawatts of that program left. It's filling up quite quickly, about a megawatt a week. So I guess pass forward. If it's a municipal owned system, if the commission decided to design or have an engineering company design, procure, and have a system built, and they wanted to own it outright, which would give them all the SREC benefits, things like that, they would need to solicit engineering, procurement, construction, or EPC firms, or a design firm, and then essentially design it, put it out to bid, and have it built. A third party, our private ownership model, the commission would need to put that out to bid, essentially have a developer come in, negotiate a contract, and essentially lease a certain piece of land or a rooftop or some area to the developer from the commission, and essentially buy the power that they produce. And generally, I mean, it depends on the incentives, but generally it's a 5 to 15% savings on energy. Other considerations, there are certain grant opportunities and programs out there including the Green Communities Grant, Mass Saves Energy Efficiency Program, as well as certain DOER opportunities. Generally speaking, we recommend energy conservation measures prior to renewable energy implementation. Generally speaking, conservation measures will save more money, you'll get more bang for your buck, a shorter payback time compared to renewable energy systems.
And then questions?
Is the system split in 3-phase and single phase? So we're able to use 3-phase and single phase?
So it's based on that level of service
Bobby, Tina?
to make it affordable and available to small businesses and residences is generally why they have
We
it.
will have both 3-phase and single phase here.
Yeah. You could. Again, it's per account. You're allowed to have one application per account. Less than 25 kW on a 3-phase circuit and up to 10 kilowatts on a single phase per account. And that little carve out is for the smaller systems. And those systems, again, as Matt said, are still available. The larger systems are oversubscribed at the moment.
Dave,
Where are
What?
those stations? Will there be different areas where those panels will be? Single phase and 3-phase?
It depends on where you have proximity to that circuit and that distribution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave,
So in your presentation, you've indicated that energy savings measures are good. You can save money from that. And you can also save money from doing the solar project.
Right.
That over time, it is a savings. And at the water and sewer, we have to keep our rates down, and we should take measures that are savings. Beyond that, I think we're responsible to support a healthier environment for the community and be part of the solution that a lot of businesses are doing to reduce pollution nationally. And so I'm glad to see that you gave a good report and there are savings to be had here. And I don't think any savings are too small. And to have rates that stabilized to some effect by actually finding revenues like this, it's great to hear. And what I've heard is that the state is still looking to, through the elective process of our elected officials, working with the idea of putting out additional, amounts of energy that can be subsidized by the tax relief programs.
Right.
But that hasn't come yet. So sometimes timing's everything.
go ahead.
So,
Yep.
yeah, so there's a lot of information. So how is, you said a lot of this depends on incentives, right? And what is going on with the incentives? How hard is it to get those incentives?
Right now, it's very hard. You have to have an interconnection service agreement and all your permits in line in order to apply for a cap allocation. And they're no longer accepting cap allocations on systems that are greater than 25 kW. So if it's
They being the state?
they being the state and the program that the utilities are obligated to interconnect, they have a cap in terms of how much solar in the solar carve-out program is required to be installed, and all of that capacity has already been applied for. In fact, there's a waiting list of tens, if not hundreds of megawatts. I don't remember the number exactly. I think we printed it out.
Is that a yearly?
It's not a yearly, it's a programmatic cap, period. So once that cap is reached, there's no more. They will no longer accept applications. And so what it means from an SREC perspective is that the subsidy that was available for every megawatt hour of solar energy, you have an SREC value that carried somewhere in the neighborhood of $185 per megawatt hour for 10 years. And so without that, you default back to a class 1 rec that right now I think has a value of about $60 a megawatt hour, similar to what the wind turbine might be producing now as a class 1 rec.
So I'm just trying to get a handle on
Yeah.
the actual savings, if
Yeah.
there is savings.
Right. So those savings, those calculations are in the report. They're based on production, and so you have an initial investment that's between roughly $2 and $4 a watt, depending on how big of a system that you were able to buy. And so even at $2 to $4 a watt, you know, there's 1,000 watts per kilowatt. Solar is still fairly expensive technology. That's why we preach efficiency first, turn the light switch off, and that kilowatt hour saved is certainly a lot cheaper than producing one from the sun, is all we're saying. Even though our day job revolves around designing, developing, and building solar for folks like you guys. Right now, the picture is bleak from the standpoint of programmatic incentives as far as SRECs. And if you did the math on them, basically you have to take your capital investment and then run it over the life of the project. First 10 years gets SRECs, and then the latter 10 to 20 years only gets class 1 recs, plus the value of the electricity. And when you add those things up, the cost benefits start to become closer to 1. Anything, you know, substantially over 1 has a good benefit, and less than 1, not so good.
Is the cap something the state determines or the utility companies determine? Or do they determine that?
Yeah,
Could that change?
it's a
Could that
legislative.
be increased at
Yes.
some point?
Yes, and it has in the past been increased. But right now, you know, the buzz in the market is there an SREC 3 going to come out? And there are some folks that are in the solar market that are hedging their bets in hopes that there will be another program that continues to make solar thrive. And solar prices have come down. If we were talking about this 5 to 7 years ago, the same types of systems, instead of costing $2 to $4, would probably be $6 to $8 to $10 a watt. So they've come down a lot, and that's been a good thing for those that are interested in buying a solar system.
Go ahead, Dave.
I wanted to ask if the deputy director had heard anything where you were at the state.
Well, I have, David, and I've got a little memo I can pass out here.
Great.
Actually, just, could you just, talk now, Deputy Director, what's the cost? I mean, you mentioned the cost of, I think there's a two-phase cost to this, from the cost of the solar panels, and also cost for reconstructing the roof systems and stuff like that. You mentioned that to the board, please?
Yeah, could we address the roofs and
Yeah, that was in the report.
So, so we provide the commission with an estimated cost of roof replacement. Generally speaking, when you install solar on a roof, you don't want to put it on a roof that is close to the end of its life. Meaning you would have to go back up there, pull everything off, redo the roof, and then reinstall it. Which would just be an added cost and wouldn't be a great idea. We generally recommend anything over 5 years. You're starting to hit that threshold because many of these systems last for 20 plus years, and a roof generally lasts 20, 25 years. So talking with some architects that we have on staff, they gave us a ballpark price of $20 per square foot for roof replacement. So that ranges anywhere for some of the wastewater treatment plants, or the wastewater treatment buildings, from $52,000 up to $700,000, which we have for the water treatment plant, because it has a larger roof. Again, that's an estimated price. We will, I believe the commission has a copy of our supplement document, but we can send it out again if needed.
And there was a question about there's a big range in our cost estimates, and it really comes down to a unit cost. It's how many watts do you want to buy multiplied times these numbers. And again, there are companies that are still working and actively offering both. They want to sell you a system where you buy it outright, or if it's financed on the energy savings over time. And one of the questions that came up as a result from staff was, what about things like solarized masts that other communities have done? And that's really the same thing that we're talking about. It's just that solar developers in the residential to small commercial sector that have evolved in Massachusetts. And there are those contractors out there that will develop and build the system at their expense. They'll incentivize any investment tax credits that they can leverage and offer you a power purchase agreement with the hope and intent that you would pay a rate that's less than what you're paying the utility or your third-party provider today. And then that would be what's represented in your cost savings.
Can get it for free. Can you do this for free for us?
So just to be clear, Weston and Sampson is not an installer. We're not trying to sell you solar. We're just trying to give you the facts to make decisions on whether or not you think that you want to spend your money and time on solar as a resource.
Go ahead, Jim.
I know when I did my solar on my house recently, I'm going to save $23,000 over the life of it. And from day one, I started my savings. So my electric bill went down from probably about $250 to $103 fixed price, will not go up for 20 years.
Right.
So I also know that we have a pea and gravel roof, and some of those have lasted 100 years.
Right.
Okay. So, and some of them 30 years is more of an average. But there is also stand setups, ballast stands, that they don't penetrate the roof, and then they're not as sensitive about putting a solar project on a roof.
Right.
The other thing is, when you go out to bid, people will come in and do a free evaluation using their models of what equipment they use, their pricing, what their overhead is, and all those different factors. It costs us nothing to do. They'll come in and do it for nothing, and you can get 3 people who come in and do that, and you can get a quote. And if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. If they don't show savings, you don't have to do it.
Right.
And I've heard that the legislature, you see it nationally. You see the president out there talking about global warming, environmental effects, and the need for solar. And I think that our legislature will come to that point that this is a wise investment for Massachusetts. But in the future, I think that it's something that we could do, go out, it costs us nothing. If we see S-regs come along that are going to give us savings and put out a bid.
Right.
So I appreciate your information.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Just one more question.
Go ahead.
Real quick. Is there a time frame when they may evaluate the cap again?
Yeah, believe me, there are those in the solar installation market that are actively lobbying, our state legislature now to make that happen. And again, we've had explosive growth, really unprecedented. In Massachusetts, they've built 1,600 megawatts just in the last 5 years or so. And so there's been a tremendous amount of solar built. And there are programs, but right now they're geared only towards the small, and that's what the incentives are available right now.
I understand.
Sure.
Thanks.
We don't need any vote on anything here, Danny. No, this is just a presentation. There's no vote needed.
Just wanted a question to Dan.
Oh, you have a question for Danny?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dan, do we have any problems with the roof here leaking?
Yeah, of course, the leaks, yes.
A lot of problems with leaks in the roof?
I don't know how you define a lot of problems. There's sections of the roof that certainly leak, yes.
We'll have a lot more problems if we put this in.
Well, it is the original roof, so it does have spots where it leaks, yes.
I thought we just spent a ton of money repairing this
Yeah.
a while back.
We repair it, we don't spend a
Well,
ton.
you spent quite a bit of money repairing it, I thought, at the time. That was only a few years ago.
It still leaks.
Okay. Go ahead, Dave.
I think we have a professional roofer here.
No, we don't.
We don't? Okay. But if we have roof leaks, we can't allow that to continue. We can't have black mold getting in here and causing an unhealthy environment for our employees. So if we have roof leaks, I think you should get together what scope of work is needed to repair those And it's easy to do with this type of roof, with pouring on the tar and putting the gravel over.
There's no gravel here. These are,
Okay?
these
So-
are,
I have the
rubber
floor
roofs.
right now. So
Well
what,
done.
so if you can look and see what we need to do here, Mr. Director, so that we can keep a healthy environment and report back at the next meeting what we need for roof repairs.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? That's it. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Try and get out of here as quietly as possible.
Yeah, go ahead, take your time.
Do you have copies of the slides for us?
Yeah, I think we do. Matt, did you make copies? And certainly we can send a PDF of it.
Great, thanks. Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Dave.
can you see that we get copies of the presentation that was given tonight to all the commissioners?
All right. Rick, you want to make a motion for that?
I-
Danny will send them. Danny, you can
Sure.
get a copy and send
You
them
get
to the
half
commission.
dozen copies.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So that's not a
We'll
problem.
send everything to Betty.
That's fine. Okay, well, you want to go back to comments and handle that? Who's handling the first one, the 5-year wind turbine?
Betty handles all four of them, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Okay,
Go,
Mr.
Betty.
Chairman. Yes, the commission recently solicited bids seeking an experienced contractor to provide service maintenance and monitoring for the commission's 600 kilowatt wind turbine. Bids are advertised in the Daily Item, Massachusetts Central Register, and the commission's website and lobby as well. Bidders are requested to provide an all-inclusive yearly price starting in 2016 to 2020, as well as 2 inspections and cleanings of the turbine in 2017 and 2019. Tabulation is attached. Services to include maintenance, monitoring, and reporting. In response, we received 1 bid from Baldwin Crane Equipment, Wilmington, Mass. The bid reflects a yearly fee and a total 5-year price, including the 2 cleanings. Baldwin Crane currently services up to 5 turbines in the Northeast. References were checked with a favorable response. Their first year bid price offer was $46,193. And the succeeding years are on the tabulation sheet, with a total 5-year bid price of $299,152.
Mr. Chairman,
Baldwin Crane Baldwin Crane has provided service and maintenance and monitoring to the Commission's wind turbines since it began its operation 2 years ago. The bid was also reviewed by Bob Tina, who was satisfied that the firm meets specifications and recommends award to Baldwin Crane. I therefore recommend the Commission authorize a 5-year contract award to Baldwin Crane Equipment Corp. for the wind turbine service, maintenance, and monitoring contract as bid.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we go along with Betty and award the contract to Baldwin Crane Company for 5-year bid.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any
I
questions?
got a question. How much money does it make in this turbine? Does it make any money to generate electricity?
Yes.
It does. So,
Does it make enough to pay the payments? That's what he wants
That's
to
what I'm
know.
trying to say, yeah. Does it make enough to pay the payments?
Well, the debt service on it is about $56,000 a year.
Yeah.
The maintenance currently on the contract is $39,000 a year. And the insurance is about $23,000 a year. So the expense is probably around $115,000 to $120,000 a year. It produces, I think it was 800,000, or was it 1 million kilowatt hours, times 13 cents a kilowatt hour. It produces about $120,000 of savings. So the expenses and the savings are very close.
Very close. Something we have to look at later on, right? But there's another one.
But the debt, how long will we have the debt?
20 years. And that was with the $600,000 Master Collaborative grant and 42% debt forgiveness as well on the SRF money.
We'd be better off with that here than the solar panels.
Except for mice and spinning wheels for energy. Hamsters. Some hamsters.
Right, Bobby?
Any other questions? Okay.
Do we have to do a 5-year contract? Can we
That's what they went out to bid
Yes,
on.
we have a current 2-year contract under the original bid for the turbine, so this is what we recommend here.
Hearing no more questions, roll call.
Commissioner Capano?
Yes.
Commissioner Calucci?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fudian?
Yes.
And Commissioner Trahan?
Yes.
Okay, our next procurement was for number 2 fuel heating oil. We bid in conjunction with the North Shore Public Purchasing Consortium, which consists of 17 municipal communities agencies for number 2 and number 4 fuel heating oil. Guaranteed increment, plus or minus, which includes the delivery fees and fuel surcharges, which is added to the per gallon price for a 3-year contract term. The daily price is based on an average posting as published in the Boston Journal of Commerce, oil price information service, 7-day average, plus or minus per gallon. 3 oil firms bid. The low bid was received from Stadium Oil Heat of Peabody, Mass., offering a guaranteed increment plus .0680, which includes delivery fees, fuel surcharges, which is added to the per gallon price as already explained. At the time of bidding, the price was $1.57. Presently, the Commission utilizes 39,100 gallons per year of number 2 heating oil for the water treatment plant and various pump station locations. Over the last 3 years, the Commission spent $81,000 per year. Oil prices constantly fluctuate and at the present time are much lower than 3 years ago, based on the current average per gallon price, plus the guaranteed increment, which recently, my most recent bill was $1.17, plus the increment, it came out to $1.24, bringing the first-year contract price estimate from 36,100 gallons down to $48,848. Stadium Oil recently completed the most recent 3-year contract to the satisfaction of the Commission. Bid was also reviewed by Superintendent Dorr, who recommends award. I therefore recommend the Commission authorize and award a 3-year contract for number 2 fuel heating oil at the guaranteed increment at .0680 to Stadium Oil Heat as bid.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the recommendation of the Chief Procurement Officer.
I second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
Question, due to this, did anyone think about you switching to like gas, like instead of oil? Did that ever come up?
I don't believe so, no.
I think it would be way more expensive.
What?
It would be way more expensive.
Gas would be?
I think so.
It goes out to all the various pump stations. Rick could explain that.
We have asked National Grid to investigate putting in natural gas into the water treatment plant, and the problem they had was the nearest connection. The nearest connection from the water treatment plant is here, and then the next one's on Linwood Street, so it's a long run that they would have to do. So they haven't really been jumping at the chance to come up and talk to us about it.
Thank you. And all they do is, we're in the North Shore Consortium, so all they do is they take the 7-day average from the Boston Journal of Commerce oil prices, the 7-day average, and then the 3 firms increase or reduce that in incremental value. So essentially the first guy bid 6 cents additional than that average price. The second guy bid 14 cents more, and the third guy bid 28 cents more. So the guy who bid 6 cents more was the winner.
Okay. Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing no more discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Capano?
Yes.
Commissioner Calucci?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellis?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Fudian?
Yes.
And Commissioner Trahan?
Yes.
Okay, our next bid, financial advisory services, we recently bid. Bidders were requested to provide an hourly rate based on estimated 150 service hours for 1 year with an option for a 2nd and 3rd year at the Commission's discretion. In response, I received 1 bid from Unibank Financial Fiscal Advisory Services Incorporated of Whitensville, Mass. at $150 per hour for the total 3-year price, which would come to $24,150. The bid was also reviewed by Treasurer Travis, who was satisfied the Unibank is within the cost estimate and has experience to perform the work as specified. Unibank has provided financial advisory services to the Commission for the past 3 contract years, holding their service rate at $150 per hour. Based upon review of the bid, information provided by Unibank Fiscal Advisory Service, and the Commission's past contractual experience with the firm, I believe Unibank has the extensive qualified experience to successfully continue to provide the financial advisory services to the Commission as specified, and I therefore recommend the Commission authorize a contract award to Unibank Fiscal Advisory Services Incorporated for financial advisory services for a one-year contract term with an option for a second and third year at the Commission's discretion as bid.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we give it to the low bidder, Union Bank Fiscal Ad, as Betty recommends.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Here, go.
And what is the scope of services for that?
Dave could probably speak on that.
You probably recall Clark Rowell has appeared before the board, Dave, in his tenure here, I think.
Yes.
And pretty much they will work with the commission on all its bond issues. They do all the sizing of the issues, help us with our capital improvement plan. They deal with all the underwriters who will be bidding on the commission's bond, works with the rating agencies, Moody's, Standard & Poor's on our behalf, works with bond counsel on our behalf, and works with us in the municipal security rulemaking for disclosure statement.
Betty, did we have, who else put in for that?
We got Eastern Bank, they took specifications out. We had a few other firms, I can't think of, but Eastern Bank, just local. And, DiVigilio, investment firm, took the specs out as well. Just very few firms. It was advertising the goods and services, a line item, like I always do. And nobody else submitted a bid, just Unibank. They do a good job. They've been with us for years.
And Dave, this isn't anything to do with the bond counsel services then?
Not the legal side, so this is the financial side.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing no other questions, roll call.
Yes.
Commissioner Calucci?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellis?
Yes.
Commissioner Coogan?
Yes.
And Commissioner Fessler?
Yes.
Okay, our last bid is for landscape maintenance. We solicited bids for landscape maintenance for the office and maintenance facility and various commission properties. Bidders were asked to provide a one-year contract price with an option for a second and third year for the same terms and conditions. 5 bids were received, ranging in price from the high of $34,500 to the low of $20,665. Lowest responsive bid was received from Arctic Oil DBA Ferrari Landscaping at a price of $20,665 per year. Ferrari Landscaping recently completed the most recent 3-year landscape contract. The Commission's supervisor of maintenance, who monitors the Commission's grounds, reported that Ferrari provided satisfactory landscape maintenance services over the past 3 years. I therefore recommend the Commission award a contract for landscape maintenance for the office and maintenance facility and various Commission properties to Arctic Oil DBA Ferrari Landscaping Company for 1 year, with an option for a second and third year at the Commission's discretion as bid.
I make a motion that we accept.
Before the commission votes, I just want to disclose, as I did 3 years ago, that I've been a customer of Ferrari Landscaping from its inception. I had no role in drafting the specifications or the evaluation with respect to Ferrari, but I just wanted it on the record that I am a customer, as many other citizens of the city of Lynn.
Thank you for the disclosure. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the Chief Procurement Officer.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Clayton?
Yes.
Commissioner Calucci?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellis?
Yes.
Commissioner Coogan?
Yes.
And Commissioner Fessler?
Yes.
Project update. Martina?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the plant performed very well, met all permit requirements for the month of February. We averaged 26 million gallons a day. We had 4.32 inches of rain, and our DOD and TSS removals were well above permit requirements. All our loadings were good for the month of February. We processed 460 tons of sludge. Relic Farms are doing very well, whatever they've done over there to fix their equipment. That's my report.
Any questions for Bob? Okay, water treatment plant ripped off?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Lynn Water and Sewer Commission is in compliance with all federal and state drinking water regulations. The water supply capacity as of yesterday was 80%. The average for this time of year is 82%. All 10 of the positions in the water treatment plant are currently filled. The Water and Sewer Commission is currently working with Weston and Sampson engineers to develop bid specifications for the conversion of chlorine gas to sodium hypochlorite at the water treatment plant. The commission expects the specifications to be ready for bid by late summer or early fall of this year. That's fine.
Okay, any questions for Rick? Okay, thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Okay. We already did A, so we're on to B. That's gonna handle that, Danny.
It doesn't matter, I can. Amy DiVigilio from, she was a 15-year resident of Lynn. She's moved to 5 Standish Road in Lynnfield. She's requested, as our regulations require, permission to tie into the Lynn sewer system. There's a map, a recommendation from an engineer in your package, as well as a drawing. She's the middle house. Both of her neighbors at 3 and 7 Standish have received permission from the commission to tie in. She's requesting similar permission. The fee would be $5,601.10 based on $16.67 a gallon. 3 bedrooms, 110 gallons per bedroom, so forth. It's in your package. And she would be a customer, and she would receive Lynnfield water and be billed based on her meter readings from Lynnfield. So
I make a motion, we allow the request.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, roll call.
Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Commissioner Tucci?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellis?
Yes.
Commissioner Boucher?
Yes.
And Commissioner Fahad?
Yes. Next one is C, legal services.
could be myself, could be Sam. There's three different legal retainer agreements in your package.
Well, we'll go with you for now.
Okay, the first one is from a Lock and Lord relative to the bond counsel services. They used to be Palmer and Dodge. They changed their name numerous times through the years. They've been with the commission for, I believe, in this vicinity of 20 years. Bob Hale used to be the bond counsel. He since retired, but they have young, bright attorneys working for them. Their rates are in the package. Under Sam's contract, he has the authority to hire attorneys, as the commission agreed in his contract. And this is, again, a firm who's worked here for 20 years. They're very familiar with the commission. They've been the bond counsel. They're knowledgeable and competent. I think the staff supports them, and that's we're looking for this contract to be executed and approved by the commission.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that the contract be approved and be taken care of.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Go.
Yes. I think in the past, I actually made that motion for Sam under different times when we were going through problems with the CSOs, and we had a lot of attorneys in, we needed organization, but on important things like this, I think it's important for the board to have oversight of those people that we're going to work with and confirm those appointments. So I'm glad to see that that important item that in the past has been on the agenda is on the agenda tonight.
Okay, any other discussion? Any other discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call.
Sure. Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Commissioner Tucci?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellis?
Yes.
Commissioner Boucher?
Yes.
And Commissioner Fahad?
Yes.
The second item is the legal services from the Environmental Council. Again, Sam solicited proposals from three attorneys. Keegan and Whirlin from Boston were the least expensive hourly rate. Barry Fogel's here this evening. Myself, Bob Fennell, Dave Travers, and Anthony Marino all met with him along with Sam. We supported Sam's recommendation to hire Barry as the environmental attorney. Again, his rate was the least expensive, and he's certainly knowledgeable and competent and qualified. And so we're looking for approval for that.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve.
I second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to approve. Any discussion on the motion? Go, Dave.
I find this a good choice. The experience that this person has in working for some of these people that we're going to have to negotiate, I think, is a benefit. And he's, from what I've seen online, has his name on a lot of similar issues to what we'll be dealing with. And so, but once again, I think something as important as this, environmental council has always come before the board. We've been absent of that for a long time, for about 5 years, and that's put us in a situation that if we get correspondences, we don't have anybody there, or if we have questions. So I hope that we keep this person for a while in that position so that we have somebody when we need them available. And I hope that we have a contract that's structured such that we can use them in the future for that thing that we've always had, whether it was an environmental issue with a project. We could pull him in, we need him at the meeting, and they'd come.
Any other discussion on the motion? Any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Capano?
Yes.
Commissioner Calucci?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perucci?
Yes.
And Commissioner Trahan?
Yes.
The last environmental contract council services at the wastewater facility is Pinot Lopez, Devereaux, and West from New York. They work for the commission. They're currently working for the commission. Their rate is included in their package. They provide services at the wastewater facility relative to some of the capital improvements we've been doing. They were successful in one of their endeavors relative to retaining some money from Viola. So they're working for us, and we just thought it was time to memorialize their services. Again, their rates are in the package, and I think the staff recommends that we support this firm and execute the contract.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that that contract be accepted, and I approve of it.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Go, Dave.
Attorney West is part of this group, and he's put together some of the documents that we've put out in the past, like the contract for the plant, so that's very important to have the person that wrote it that knows what it is. It's about an inch or so of paper, and understands the different areas where we can use that to hold them to the maintenance items and compliance items they need to. And he also wrote the first privatization that we went through on our CSO work, and I think that experience for things going forward is very important. So I'm glad to see that we have the availability of his services, and he's working now with the wastewater plant, trying to get them to comply with our contract.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? No other discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Capano?
Yes.
Commissioner Calucci?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellis?
Yes.
Commissioner Coogan?
Yes.
And Commissioner Trahan?
Yes. CSO update?
I think we should discuss the topic in executive session with our newly appointed environmental council services.
Mr. Chairman,
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. There's no discussion.
I'm supposed to say what it's for and the purpose.
We have to say what we're discussing in executive session? No.
Well, to discuss.
It has the potential for litigation,
litigation.
and litigation is one of those exceptions that the commission can discuss in an executive
Point
session.
of order, Mr. Chairman.
Call.
I called the Open Government Office of the Attorney General and asked that question. They said we have to say what the, specifically, what the litigation is with who that we're entering into, and what the purpose is under the various purposes. So that has to be in the motion.
Then I would suggest that we say that it's a notice we received about potential enforcement on the third modified consent decree, and we're going to discuss strategy.
Absolutely,
So
right
moved.
on point.
So moved.
Okay,
Good job.
Second.
so we have a second and we're going in executive session. Now, who do we bring back to order? We're out of executive session. It is exactly 8 o'clock. And no votes were taken in executive session. What is the wish of the board?
New business on the agenda.
New business. Go, Dave.
I just wanted to say, with the issues that we have at hand at the Lynn Water and Sewer, now more than ever, it's important that staff, if we get communications from state or federal government, we're notified as commissioners that we have received those and we have knowledge of that, so that we can effectively do our jobs, and that those documents are not kept from us. We need to do our jobs, and we, now more than ever, and so if a commissioner goes to you, asks for information, or calls you, call them back, and we have things that are going on, and they're gonna be fast, and we need to have the knowledge so we can bring things to the board and address them. And that's all I wanted to say.
I think the board should have arresting powers.
The board should have a what, I missed it.
Arresting powers. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.